everybody. So we're back again with another video. Today we're going to be talking about a topic that is personal to us, and it's about fathers that are absent in their children's lives. So there are a lot of different reasons why a father wouldn't be in a child's life. It's not just one reason. There's fathers that are absent for work, primarily like military dads. There are fathers that passed away, death. That's another way it could happen. There's also fathers who are emotionally, they're physically in their child's life and sometimes even in the home, but they're not emotionally attached to their children. So that's kind of another way a father can be distant but be there.
Right.
And then there's the one that I think is probably one of the more common things, is fathers that have abandoned their children altogether at birth or young age. And so that's what we're going to be focusing on. So it's not to negate all the other ways, but we're going to talk about what's personal to us. And that's what happened to us. Our father actually left my mom when we were children.
I was a year.
She was a year. Yeah, you were about a year old.
You weren't born.
I wasn't born yet. So, but he left. And so that left us without a dad. And we want to talk about the different, kind of the effects that it has on, women, girls and women, but then men too. So I feel like men also have, it's funny, we got a huge response from men that were really interested in this particular topic, which I thought was interesting, because it has different effects, I think, from men and women. But yeah, so we want to kind of talk about how it affected us. Let's see, our father. So he left us when we were babies, and then when did we meet? We met him again when we were what age?
I don't know, like 14.
Yeah, it was 13, like we were teenage years. Yeah,
13, 14.
Right. And then he was there we had just met him. We had never met him before.
We were surprised when we were going to meet him. We didn't know we were going to
meet him. Yeah, we didn't know we were going to meet him. So we met him, and so that was really interesting. That was interesting. But he was only around that time. It didn't work out. It didn't work out. He was only around for like
about a week.
About a week, right? It wasn't more than that. Maybe 2. No, I think it's more like a week. Yeah, and then he was gone again. Then we didn't see him ever again, even to this day, right? Well, yes. Well,
we didn't see him again.
Yeah, after that, we didn't see him again in any real way. We didn't see him again, and then
we looked for him.
Like
when we were in New York. So we were in our 30s,
and we asked her mom for his phone number, and she did. She provided it, which thanks, Mom.
Which is hard.
Thanks, Mom, for doing that. 'Cause I know that was really difficult to do, but she is a stand-up mom. So she said, okay. And she gave us the number. And Kara contacted him.
It took me like a month, though,
to have
call the number. Yeah, because, you never talk to someone.
Yeah, it's weird.
You don't
especially
know how, what if they didn't want to talk to you?
Right.
You don't know.
Right. So, yeah, and then, so that happened. And we had, so when we contacted him and we were in New York, we did speak to him often, right? I feel like often, like it was like
for a few months.
It seemed like almost every day. Like we trying to develop a relationship. Now our father did something very. There's the part of it that I just want to say that he didn't have to do this. When he wanted us to ask him any questions that we wanted to ask him about why he left and fill in some holes of stories and stuff, and he did not, it was not pretty. He did not make himself look good, when he did it. So I appreciate that that he did that. We were able to ask him whatever we want. And although some of the answers to the questions were very bold, it was not lies. It did not make him look great.
No,
so
he did tell the truth.
He did. So we really appreciated that. However, the connection was not there. It may have just been that it was just too long. It did not work out. Basically, we didn't have the connection that I think that I know I didn't. I can't speak for Kara, but didn't have the connection that I was wanting. And
also, I think it was just so much time lost. You know what I mean?
It was weird.
If you never met your father or really talked to him in a real way,
Yeah.
or even got the truth out of him, and you're going on 31, That's a lot of distance
It's a lot of
between the truth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even though he told us the truth, which I'm grateful for, you know, because he didn't lie. You know what I mean? But it just wasn't. It was. You know, it's one of those things where I think because you're older, that you can separate the man from your father.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I'm grateful that I've met him in a weird way. I'm grateful I met him when I was in my 30s and not immature in my 20s because I would have been more mad at him.
Right.
But I started to see the kind of person that he was. And for me, I don't know about you, what I got from our father is that he just really isn't a father.
Yeah, like
you know what I mean? Like I think that people can give birth to kids and not be parents.
Yeah.
Not be parent material. And I always feel like even now, you know, I don't talk to him, but you know what I mean? I just feel like he never gave me the dad quality. There's something about him that I feel like he just really
that wasn't the role that,
you know, now everybody is supposed to be a parent, even though they can give
they can make it happen.
Children, you know what I mean? And you know that was what I got out of it.
Yeah.
You know, as hurtful as it is not to have a connection.
We tried. We did try, and you know, to be honest with you, he's not
a bad guy.
Not a bad guy. He's not actually not a bad guy. You know, but still there's, you know, just there's some other underlying issues still that that I know that I was having. And it was just unfortunate we couldn't make a connection, but we, you know, it is what it is. I still appreciate his honesty. I still do happy that we got to at least at an adult age where we're grown women to be able to talk to, because people don't get that opportunity. Sometimes people, their kids want to talk to their dads or whatever, and they're passed away or, you know, and they never got the opportunity to even have questions answered. So the fact that we even were able to have questions answered, that was good enough for me. Like, I feel like that helped me immensely in my life. So but so, you know, how it affected us, I think, like, growing up. So when we were little, I know when I was little, I didn't really know that it was, my mom made it to where our life was pretty fun. We had hard times growing up. You know, we
grandmother.
Yeah, we had fun. We weren't,
I mean?
like, we didn't have a lot of money and all that stuff.
No. When you're a kid, you don't know you're poor.
Yeah,
really, not all the time. Sometimes you don't really get, especially if all the kids around you are also. Yeah, you don't have anything to compare it to. So you don't really know about, you know, wealth and stuff is when you become older and you know, you understand money, you make your own money.
So my mom, she really made it to where we didn't even honestly notice that our father wasn't around. And you know, she, in retrospect, as grown women, I get why she was protecting us from it, because his behavior, I think, was a little bit erratic when he was when we were younger, coming in, and she didn't want somebody coming in and out of life promising things and then never seeing, you know, not fulfilling the promises. And I think there must have been, I can't speak for my mom, but the feeling that I'm getting, or even from my father, is that I don't know if he was going to be able to be a solid figure in our lives. So sometimes that's worse, right? When the father is coming in and out of the child, making promises. I'm going to see you this for your birthday. I'm going to see you that. I'm going to send you this. You know, and then they always break the promises because they're not in the mental state to be able to raise children. So, you know, my mother wanted him to be a part of our life. She wanted that, but it's just that his behavior wasn't. She wanted to raise us.
I don't really think he really did.
Yeah,
I think that I don't think he meant any harm to us. I just don't think he's a young man, and when he, you know, I just think he wanted his life, he wanted his freedom, and that didn't include children. Yeah, you know what I mean. But I don't think that he is a bad guy, and I think the only reason I can say that now is because I'm 43 and I'm not, you know, I'm
well,
not
you look
23.
at
you know what I mean. You get to see your parents, even my mom though. You can see your parents as human beings and not your mommy and your daddy. And I think that when you get older, you do have to do that. Yeah, you have to see you have to kind of. They'll always be your mom or your dad, but as you get older, you have to see your parents as people. They make mistakes, and because you know, you make mistakes. Yeah, you know what I mean. And forgiveness is a lot of people think forgiveness only ends with them. Like, you know what I mean. Like, because we all make mistakes. So it's like as soon as we want forgiveness, but we think it ends with when it really should begin with us. Right. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I do agree. Forgiveness should begin with you. Really, it should not just be you. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that I've done a lot of things in my life that I'm not too proud of. Yeah. So if I want people to forgive me, I have to understand that I have to forgive others. I can't just hold people accountable for the rest of their life and not, and make it the reason why I am the way
like hold grudges,
right?
Basically.
Like I can't say that my father is the reason why every last thing in my life fell to pieces. That's not fair, and I can't even say that. I can't say that about my mother.
So we hold no grudges towards him. That's just the fact that he was just not around. He left.
But with that being said, it doesn't mean that his absence absolutely did change.
No, that's
a lot
where,
of how it,
Yeah, that's where it gets kind of a little bit messy. But because when you're a woman, a child, a girl. I can't speak for obviously men.
I can't speak for men.
Men without fathers, that is a whole nother story. That's a whole nother conversation, and it's a very valid conversation, by the way. Men without their fathers too, but we can only speak. Obviously, we're women, so we can only speak on what we went through.
Right.
But not having a father in our life, we develop trust issues. Specifically, obviously, with men, because it's like an abandonment thing. So what happens is when your father's not around,
because we also didn't have a stepfather.
We didn't have a stepfather.
So we didn't have someone who took his place.
Yeah. So there was just my mom and us three, and she did the best she could.
My mother taught us to take care of ourselves.
Take care of ourselves, and she had to
not rely on not rely on others to take care of you, which is correct.
But it did create like a trust issues.
But it did create trust. Yeah.
It created a lot of trust issues with men. I know that my earlier years, I was in a we're not gonna mention any names and stuff like that, because it's inappropriate to be honest with you. But in my earlier 20s, I was in a very serious relationship, and good guy, a very serious relationship. And although I was very young, I don't know if that would have worked out anyways because of how young I was. But I will say this, that I was never. I don't think my part in it. I wasn't the whole reason why the relationship was messing up, but I will say that I did not fully trust him, and I think that had nothing to do with him.
Yeah.
That was something I was dealing with because I didn't realize until then that it was because a lack of a father. I never got to learn what to look for in a man and what to look out for in a man. So I was always just waiting for the other shoe to drop with men. So I would have never been able at that time in my life. I would never been able to recognize a good man even if he came in my life at that time.
Right.
Because I didn't have a dad to show me how it should be. So it wouldn't even matter what man came into my life at that time. I wouldn't have been able to recognize it, even if he was good. And this guy was actually a pretty good guy. And, it's hard. But,
then I was the opposite.
Yeah.
I was passive with men because I feared them leaving. So a lot
I was more aggressive.
I feared never having a husband. So for me, when it came to men, I was very, 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 very passive. I didn't fight like I should have, and it caused me to get really hurt and cheated on and lied to, and now at the time I thought those were just mean men. You know what I mean? At the time I thought it was mean. Then I went to a point where I really thought the men just didn't like me.
Oh yeah, well, I can see that.
Like they just didn't like me.
I never felt that, but see, this is the two extremes here. She was more passive with men, and then I was the like this ball busting girl. Like I was like, like not taking nothing. Like I was complete. Like I hate bitch. In a way, I wasn't an evil person ever to anybody, but I was really tough on men at that time in my life because I just didn't know what to do.
And on some levels, I think I don't know, you didn't. And I think I actually dated dated men like my father. I think, on some level,
you did,
what I mean? I think that you don't know when you're going through when you've never seen your father, been raised with your father, you don't know that
you don't add it up.
You don't realize that you're trying to heal. Not when you're 18 and 20. You don't think of that. You know what I mean? You just think, oh well, I'm gonna date this cool guy, and hopefully he'll treat me well. I'm gonna be really nice. You know what I mean? I always used to think that if I was really really nice to a guy, then he would be really really nice back.
It also creates a lot of abandonment issues. Like like I said before, you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. So you don't know how long this person's gonna stay. You're assuming that he's gonna be like your father, and you don't even realize you're connecting this.
Yeah.
But you are. You are. Even if you don't mean to, you're thinking that, my father didn't stay. That's the first man that's supposed to be in your life to be there, and he didn't stay. right? He didn't want nothing, and not only did not stay, he didn't want nothing to do with you. Whatever the reasons are, he didn't have nothing to do with you. So when you're with, it creates dysfunctional relationships and abandonment issues, because then you're starting to feel like, well, is this guy gonna stay? I bet it's not gonna last.
Right.
I bet this is not gonna last. Watch, I just know it. That's what you're telling yourself. I'm not speaking for every woman out there that doesn't have a father. Maybe they don't have this issue, but I will say that I have had very deep conversations with many women in my life that do not have their fathers because their fathers left, and we are literally in sync with how we feel about this, and it does make you feel like if you don't heal that part of you and you're going through it, it makes you feel like, yeah, this guy's not going to stay. So you're always assuming they're going to leave eventually. This is not going to work out anyways,
And of course, when you put that energy out, then they do leave.
Then they do leave.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They do leave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they don't leave, and then they really should.
Yeah.
Because so you can be free.
Because then you won't leave, and then you're getting treated like crap because you think that's what you're supposed. That's what's going to happen. That's what's supposed to happen because your father wasn't around. So I guess that's how we're going to play this out. So yeah, I think it does. It creates a huge dysfunctional. Your love life is very dysfunctional. You probably find yourself. I know we found ourselves in dead end relationships that were in our head probably doomed from the start.
Because your father, what he not like your mom. Your father is supposed to be the guy that comes into a girl's life and loves her for the mere fact that she's alive. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I think that when girls have that, when they have a dad that they raised with, even if their father's not really, they're not in the house, but they have a connection. They have a relationship with their father. They have a sense of worth. Yeah. Because there's a man that tells them every day that they're beautiful, that they're worth it, you can do better. And then also because he's financially taking care of her or fighting for her, he's willing to die for her. She feels protected, but she always feels worth. Yeah. There's like a worth in there that you feel. When you don't have a father and all you have is a mother, you know what I mean? It's great to have. I had a really good mom, a really good mother. But she can't be a father. Yeah. You know what I mean? She can't.
Women cannot be fathers, and this is another thing.
Yeah, she can't be a father.
Women are trying to say, okay, that's another thing. I know it's very controversial, but I don't believe, and I feel like I don't know if you believe this or not either, but I don't like when women say I was a mother and a father to my child.
Yeah, you weren't.
You're a good mother. I do understand in theory the concept of that, but fathers are important. And I think that's that you were mentioning.
It's like I was saying about Father's Day and Mother's Day.
She was mentioning this very
Mother's Day gets so much attention because women get put on a pedestal when it comes to child rearing. You know what I mean? But fathers, I think they don't get the same amount of attention. Yeah. And I wish that wasn't true because I think that fathers are so important. Yeah. They're just, to me, they're just as important as mothers.
Me too, yeah.
Because if we had more fathers and not a lot of single mothers I think we'd have less angry people. Happier women. They're raising happier children. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I don't like when women say Happy Father's Day to me because I had to raise my kids by myself. You're not a father, and you're a really good mom, and I will give you that. I will give you that. But women, there's a part of you that you will never ever be able to hold to that child as the male influence, whether you're raising a little boy or a little girl.
And women naturally we wear many hats. So we do a lot. Women do a lot, and so I understand. I do again understand the concept of saying that, but I don't think that you should take the glory away from fathers who are really working hard at raising their children, not just financially, but literally emotionally being there for their daughters, especially. It's so important because a lot of times when men out there, if you're not engaged with your daughter, if you're just taking care of your daughter financially, your child financially, I'm going to tell you right now that it's not enough. That's not enough. And she's going to learn like we had to learn through trial and error, and with men and life and all that, and the hard part about learning through trial and error, instead of having someone who is there to say, look out for this or look for this, you know what I mean? that would have been so helpful.
Yeah.
That would have been so helpful in like even our teen years. But you know, teens make mistakes. Your early 20s, you make mistakes. That's one thing. But definitely, we would never went into our 30s.
But your parents
we would never went to our 30s or
your
40s.
Parents are responsible for your self-love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In your earlier years, not when you're later years. That's up to you.
Yeah.
But your parents are a part of that. You know what I mean? And so when you don't have a man in your life that's telling you that you're beautiful, and that you are, that you're worth to die for,
you search for it.
You search for it. You keep searching, but you don't think you're searching for it when you're you think that you're just dating. But no, you're searching for some sort of fulfillment that you didn't
validation
get.
from
and
men.
That's why I say that women can be really good mothers, but they can't be fathers because that's going to come out no matter how good of a mother that you are.
Yeah.
Men are very, very important to child rearing, and I wish, like I said, I wish Father's Day was a much bigger.
Yeah.
It was just equal to mothers on some level,
right?
Because I think that a lot of the reason why we have so much dysfunctional children is because we have a lot of women raising kids by themselves angry, because they had to do that. Had to do, you know what I mean? Because they had to do that, or they dated a man that they knew wasn't that good for them, had a child with them, and now they have this kid and he's gone. You know what I mean? Right. Or in jail or something like that. And then they're just really angry. And I feel like we'd have a lot more love and a lot more compassion and a lot more happiness in this world if men were if men were put on the same pedestal when it comes to raising kids as mothers are.
Because we learned too late.
Because believe me, there's a lot of mothers out here that should not be mothers either.
Yeah.
You know,
that's a whole other.
That's a whole other topic. But I'm just saying there should not be mothers at all.
But I think that. That goes. I feel like a little bit from our previous video about the being single in our 40s. That one, that being single at a later age or finding self-love at a later age has a lot to do with not having a dad, because we waited. We had to learn to love ourselves and the best that we could. Right. So. The outcome of that a lot of times is that a lot of women will be single. Will be single at later ages. That is actually a statistic, to be honest. That's a statistic that a lot of people that don't have a lot of women who do not have, or not raised with their fathers, or father or abandoned children, they are usually single. Single at a very late age, and that's because we're picking the wrong people. Right. Because we didn't have that example. We didn't have the guy, the man saying, "Oh, you know what? You're worth it. You're worth this. You love yourself. Don't let a man do this. Don't let him." So when you don't have that, you're making a bunch of mistakes along the way. In your 20s and your 30s, you're making all kinds of mistakes. You're dating all the wrong types of people, and you don't really connect. Why? Until you realize,
and this is why I'm also pro women being single until they're ready, because I think that your single life is really prepare you for a married life. Because if you can't find your own self-love, or you can't, there's going to be a point in time where you can't blame your parents anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You have to look at yourself and then, say what it is that I really, really want. And then you have to, you have to find it within yourself, and then you'll attract it. But I'm very pro single for as long as you have to be before you get married. Yeah. I think marriage sometimes gets put on this pedestal, or just having a relationship where people just jump into relationships so they can appear, so they can appear validated. Yeah. You know what I mean? But the real validation is within yourself.
Yeah. Lack of fathers is a big deal, y'all. You guys, it's not.
Like, it's the reason why I don't have children. Yeah. I do not want to be a single mother. And the thing is, it's just like, but also I want more so even if I got a divorce, I want my kids to have a father. And whoever I have children with, I want them to have a relationship where they are attached to their children. Yeah. Because I know what it's like to have a man who's just completely gone out of your life, and it's a tough road.
Right. And then also seeing a mom have to do
everything,
a lot of stuff alone. It's just not fair. I think it's just not fair, but that is the cards that was dealt. When you get to be an adult, now here's the part where, so when you're a teenager or you're a young adult, 20s or whatever, those issues will come up with the father issues will definitely come up, but I think that once you get to a certain age or a mature age, it really is up to you to try to find some self-love.
Right.
You can't go your whole life blaming your dad because he wasn't there. You know, you can that you can't play that game. You know, it took me a while to even get to the point where I felt like, oh, I'm pretty.
Right.
Or I didn't have self-esteem in my I didn't really have high self-esteem in my 20s, and if I'm being honest, really before I actually talked to my father. See, the good part about talking to him when we were in our 30s is that it just made it all the pieces of my life kind of made sense now of why I dated the type of men I dated, or why I even if they're bad men, you know, and then the good men that I did date, I didn't treat well.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it made sense, like, oh, okay, so I'm just kind of I'm kind of making them all my dad. Right, I'm making them all of my father, and I'm treating them
like a child, really.
Like a child accordingly, and that has to stop, ladies. If you are out there and that's you know, that's happening, where you are, you know, it's not, you keep dating the wrong men and get into bad relationships, and you know, and you're not you know, connected with your own dad, then it a lot of it can be your relationship can really go downhill with that. If you cannot find, you won't find, if you can't find self-love, you're not going to find actual love with with somebody else. So if you're a father right now and you're not present in your child's life, you're gonna expect her to have a very difficult time. So I would advise you to make a big turnaround and look at what you could be doing to your child, because you know, these women, when you grow up, it turns out that you know, we're gonna need you. We need fathers, and make sure you're there for your children, because we'll find, as women, as young girls, teenagers, your kids are going to be teenagers one day, and they'll try to fill that void. They're going to try that. If you're not there for them, they will try to fill that void, and not knowingly understanding that they're you know, it leads to a lot of stuff, you guys. Promiscuity, bitterness. It can lead to bitter. You can raise a bitter woman. You can raise a bitter woman. Look, if you're not there for your children, you can actually raise a bitter woman. So you don't. You just don't want that. And
or a masculine woman. You know what I mean? Like, this is why so many women are so darn masculine. Is because a lot of it is feminism. The other part of it is that women who don't have a father, they end up becoming manly because they have to do. They feel that they have to do both parts. They end up acting like a guy, talking like a guy.
I financially took care of somebody before.
Me too.
You have too.
Me too.
Just think about that. You know, and there was a man out there that allowed that. And guess what? The men
because the single mothers, I think that's what happens. And when little girls become very masculine, and little boys become dependent on their mom a lot for everything. Become mama's boys, and then they don't have a man to tell them, you know, to sort of make them, you know, to help them with their masculinity, things that only men, you know, like little boys, there's things that only their father can teach them.
That's it.
You know what I mean? And sometimes just the action of watching a man every day be a man, the little boys need that. You know what I mean? So this, and then he in turn will become that little boy that you're raising will then become a good man for a woman out there. So, but when you're absent, you're going to raise, like she was saying, a male that is going to be a mama's boy. You know what I mean? And while we love that men love their mothers, I love them men love their mothers. There's nothing more unattractive than a man who needs his mom for everything. You know what I mean?
It's
and
a bad look,
detach like an umbilical cord. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care if you love your mother. You should love your mother. I'm all for that. But all these men who just really can't, choosing their mom over their wife or something, that's just it's weird.
Right.
It's weird.
It's true. Yeah. You know, men that were raised with fathers normally have a very leadership quality in them that they learn from their dads, seeing, like Kara said, work, and you know, how they treat their mother, so it all makes a difference. You know, that's really it, you guys. We just really wanted to tap onto that, because it's to me, I feel like it's a huge issue. It's a lot of the reason why women are picking wrong men. There's a lot of women out there that don't want to recognize that's the reason why they're picking the wrong men. But I do know women who are in that situation and they don't have dads. They were not raised with a dad. So they're trying to figure it out. And I empathize and sympathize with them because I understand that it is hard when you're trying to find the right person. You know what I mean? Pick the right person, but you don't understand why you're picking a bunch of losers, you know, and you need to heal yourself. So ladies, if you're listening, you haven't found peace with your father, you don't know your father, you don't have the opportunity. Karen and I were granted an opportunity to actually talk to our dad, like we said in the beginning. But not everybody has that opportunity to do that. So sometimes you're just left with this really open-ended, what's the word? No closure. You won't get closure, so you have to kind of find a way.
And that's what being single is about.
To close up
being
that gap.
single is that, being single is finding out, what it is that where you lack, and you know what I mean, like what you bring to the table.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you when you don't have a man?
Yeah.
Who are you? When you're not married, not single. Who are you? You know what I mean? And if you have these problems where you don't have a father, you need to look into that. You know what I mean? And but that's part about being single. If you're dating, a bunch of men that don't treat you well, the worst thing you do is keep looking. Sometimes you have to go inside and look inside. That's where you need to stop and just be by yourself.
Yeah.
Because I have to say, I've been single for a while now, and before my last boyfriend, the only reason I was able to leave him was because of all the work I've been doing on myself. And knowing my dad. You know what I mean? I was able to leave him and to move on.
And that helped me not totally blame my ex.
Oh yeah, see, I'm not mad at him.
Understanding.
Because you start to realize that you create your own life. So it's just like, he can only be mean to me if I stay. You know what I mean? He can only hurt me if I stay. So I'm out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna leave. I'm not mad at him either.
You're giving permission.
And then you leave happy. You don't leave bitter.
Yeah. Figure out why you are in such, why you're feeling this way towards men. You know what I mean? Why you're having this problem with men. And I almost guarantee you that if you have not healed your relationship with your father, whatever that relationship is, because there are some dads that are inside the home that are not emotionally with their children.
They're there, but
they're there, but they're not there. You know what I mean? So they're there in the home. They're feeding their kids, clothing their kids. They're
But even when men are incarcerated,
but not interacting.
Even when men are incarcerated, most girls will date incarcerated men.
Yeah,
they'll date guys who go to jail.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because there's a
looking,
connection.
Yeah, they don't
think so, but they do.
It's true. It's like I said, we can only speak on, obviously we're women, so we can only speak on what it's like to be a fatherless daughter, and so I'm saying to the fathers out there that if you are not in your child's life at all, I would advise you to switch that around and make that right. If you are a father who is there for your child, but are not emotionally there for your children, and all you're doing is buying things for them, that's not enough.
Right.
And I just this is just friendly advice.
And even if you're having if you're having a problem with the mother, take it to the courts.
Take it to the courts. Don't let it happen.
Fight for your kids. You know what I mean? Don't just blame it on the mother and be like, oh, well, she won't let me see her kids. No.
If a mother's not letting you see your children, if you are, because if you're someone who is having issues, if you're a man who's having issues and it's a danger type situation, or you have like erratic behavior or whatever it is, and the reason why she's not letting you see them for that reason, come on, you got to understand that.
Right.
But if you are someone who is wanting to see, and I know men who are wanting to see their children and are making steps court-wise, in court, and just in a very diplomatic way, and the mothers will not let them see their children. That makes me sick.
Yeah, that I stand.
When women
I stand with men like that.
That makes me absolutely sick to my stomach, because I'm like, these men are trying to be a part of life, and you're using your children. You're holding your children hostage to get something out of this man. Women, if you're doing that,
shame on you.
Shame on you. Do not do that. That is not fair to a man. But if you're a man that is not purposely making contact with your children, and you're just going about and acting like you don't have some child back there somewhere that needs you,
shame on you.
Shame on you. So we're really passionate about this subject, obviously, because it's, we understand it, and we understand both sides of it. We've seen, like I say, our mom raised us a single parent, and we've also been able to have an opportunity to talk to our father. So it's kind of, we understand kind of both sides of the situation. So
also just a shout out to men. You know what I mean? Because I think men, remember I was telling you the other day that sometimes I feel like men think that they're not, like maybe the reason why a lot of men do leave is because they think that they're not as important as women.
That's what I was,
you know what I mean? Like sometimes I wonder, do men think, because the laws and the world, real society, really makes mothers to be the reason why kids thrive. You know what I mean? Like I said, Mother's Day makes so much more money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Than Father's Day. And I think sometimes if you're a man who's not all together, you might think, well, I don't matter. Maybe I don't matter.
You do matter.
You do matter. You know what I mean? Men matter a lot.
Yeah.
In a
Come from two women
life.
who were not raised with a dad. Come from two women who respect men. You do matter.
You do
matter. I just want to let you guys know that you do matter, and you are important to your child.
And we can't be here without you.
I can't be here without you. That's
mothers can't make babies. Mothers can't just make a baby alone. We can't be here literally when we begin with you.
Yeah, it's true.
Mothers carry, but we begin with men. Yeah, you know what I mean. And I really feel as that means that you're very important. To the process of a child's life. Yeah, you know what I mean, because you are literally part of making it. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I just think that I would like to see men become more a focus point when it comes to the applause of child rearing. I think that it's not just women, and I think we need to stop that.
So just shout out to men out there to take care of the kids in every way.
And men out there who are really trying, and the courts are giving them a hard time, and their mother of their child is giving them a hard time. I mean, really shout out to you. It is, I think it's sad.
Well, then, and also shout out to mothers who are co-parenting correctly. Okay, because that's a hard thing to do. Topic is really close to our hearts because, it's difficult, even as women in our 40s, right? It's difficult when you realize that maybe some of the reasons why you are, it took a long time for you to find self-esteem and all that, is because you didn't have the example to help you with that, a little boost. But we're in a better place now where I have high self-worth. It's that it's whatever. But just shout out to you men out there. All right, guys, thank you guys for watching again. We appreciate it. We are now at 33 subscribers. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, that sounds low to most people in the world. But to us, we're like 33. That's what's up. So anyways, thank you guys for subscribing to our YouTube channel here on YouTube, and
being part of our Facebook page.
And our Facebook page is at 230 or 28 or something like that. So thank you guys for
just viewing our videos.
Yeah, and being interested in any way. So hopefully this speaks to you in some way. But thank you guys. So next week we will come back with another topic. We'll figure out what that topic is and let you guys know. And that's it. Everybody have a absolutely wonderful day. All right. Bye.